going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of Car Chats. I'm going to be speaking with Dylan Black from Boom 99.7 Boom FM. And there he is.
Look at that. That was quick connection.
Very good.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Dylan?
I'm good. This is fun. I know you and I have been talking about doing this for quite some time, and here we are.
Yeah, so I'm doing a miniature version of my regular podcast on here just to keep content flowing, and then I have the podcast on the side, so hopefully we'll have you on there soon too, get more in depth, because I know it's not as long of an interview tonight, but we'll get to something soon.
This is it's a warm-up. It's a warm-up to get to know each other, right? So
exactly, and you've done a lot for me since I started in March, and I appreciate that.
Well, I know it's difficult sometimes when you're just beginning, right? And I'm lucky enough that I've been in radio coming up to 25 years next year. So I've built a loyal base of support, and if I can help you in any way whatsoever, right? You know, to spread the word of Hanley and what you're up to, I'm glad to do it.
And I appreciate it, and I see you do that for a lot of small businesses, especially after the whole COVID wave and. Well, still COVID, but it's tough for the business out there, and just startups like me just starting a podcast, a nonprofit, just to raise awareness on mental health and the arts and how they can correlate and things like that. So I figured, why not have a radio personality on and maybe give advice to people who are looking to follow that career path, or any advice like for the time being on your opinions on mental health. But we have a little bit of time, so we'll get into a few topics.
Yeah, anything you want to talk about, I'm here for, as long as you need me, right? So fire away.
So again, I made a mistake at the beginning of this. It's Dylan Black from 99.7 Boom FM. I said Boom FM like twice in a row. So, and,
you can never say boom enough. I've said
exactly. It's a wonderful thing. And how long have you been with Boom FM for now?
Well, so I landed on Boom in the fall of 2013. So it's been a good amount of time right now, and we just celebrated 10 years on air. So it's 70s, 80s, and 90s music for your viewers who maybe if they're not familiar with it. And I love what I do. I'm on air at the radio station. I also help program the music for the station. I'm the assistant music director, and my big thing is getting out into the community and helping people and meeting people. And it sure has been tough, though, with the pandemic to do all that.
Definitely has. And have you found that you're still able to get the messages you want out even without being able to meet with people in person? Just a lot of it's via Zoom and Skype and stuff like that. So,
yeah, you know, I think so. I think it's pretty much the same, because the internet has allowed us to meet people without actually meeting them face to face. I mean, here we are, right? You know, and it's everything has been pushed online. You know, through the meetings that you have to attend and Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff. So. I think more than ever, or probably equal, I'm still able to get my message across and help out as many people as possible. So the internet is a terrible creation. It's also an amazing creation. So
well, there's pros and cons to it, definitely.
Yeah, but it's helped for sure over the past 18, 19 months to be able to connect with people. And you know, you're never really too lonely when you have the internet in front of you, right? So that's helped out a lot as people isolate and try to keep their distance from each other.
Right. And when we talk about like the isolating for like with COVID happening and stuff at the start, and even now, some people are still trying to isolate as much as they can without going out and stuff like that. Do you think I lost my train of thought there for a second. Give me 1 second. Do you think that the mental health is playing a bigger part during these times, not just financially, but just the isolation itself?
Yeah, that's definitely a difficult part, and I know what's going to be a challenge is here we are again. They call it the fourth wave, and we're going to be heading into winter. And I know last winter things were shut down, locked down, and we couldn't leave our homes, and it was minus 40 with 40 centimeters of snow. That definitely plays, it wreaks havoc for sure. So, yeah, I think mental health right now, of course, it's a gigantic topic, and I think it's at an all-time high or low, depending on how you look at it. Like it meaning like it's not good. It's not good
Right.
at all. So I think we just have to find ways. Exercise is a big thing for me. I like to get out and just move around and walk and run whenever I have an opportunity. And I find that changes everything.
Yeah.
Talking to people, nice, positive, happy people, if you can find them.
Yeah, it's a task. It's a task in these times sometimes, but you find the gems here and there.
Yeah, there's a few. I've noticed, a lot of people sticking together and helping each other out, and that's definitely good. But there's a lot of angry people right now too, and a lot of fed up people, and so you've got a mix of everybody right now, and it's just you have to navigate those waters. And it's I'm 40, going to be 44, and I've just obviously, and I think I speak on behalf of just about everybody. Nobody's really seen this before, right? And when is it going to go away? It just seems like it was going to go away around summer. It was, and then all of a sudden the numbers, and then they open up the schools, and the schools have cases, and I don't know when this will get better, quite honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot going on, especially now that there's the side of it where there's the vaccinated and anti-vaccinated, the mask wearers, the people who are against mask wearing, the vaccine passport acknowledgement, and the people who are against it. There's just, every time it seems we come to something like a crossroads, something blocks it off, and you have to get over another barricade.
Definitely, and I know. Obviously, everybody has their opinions, and I'm on the side of science. I believe everybody should be vaccinated. I think that's what's kept things. The rates as low as they are. I fear, I can't even imagine like what numbers we'd have right now if people weren't vaccinated. But I know there's medical reasons some people can't, and I respect that as well. But my goodness, if you're eligible, I think it's just the right thing to do. I think you need to get out there and you need to get vaccinated.
I think if it's going to protect the greater good and stuff like that, I agree with you. I'm open to everybody's opinion on how they treat their body and things like that. I don't try to put my opinion out there on social media. I'll keep it around the dinner table if I have to, but that's about it, because I know the backlash with one simple comment could be fierce, and I try to promote positive energy and positive substitutes to deal with mental health, and by using the arts and things like that. So I try to stay away from like politics. Like I was saying in other interviews, now they used to say don't talk politics, religion when you're drinking. Now it's don't talk politics, religion, or COVID.
Yeah, and don't talk sports either. Sports is also bad.
Yeah, sports is also bad at times, especially when you have a very big fanboy.
Yeah. And if you go against that person's team, you're in trouble, right? So, but I'm promoting. We've got pop-up clinics that my friend Mike Wood and I are putting together in Ottawa Public Health, and I just think it's the right thing to do. Like I said, right? So, Wow Girl Wonder is saying it's the only way forward, and I really think it is. And we put things in our bodies that we don't even, you eat hot dogs, you eat like what isn't that, right? Like, and we just trust and we believe, and so you have to believe the scientists have done the right things. And I'm double vaccinated, and I feel pretty good, and I feel confident. I feel better than I ever have over the past 18 months, and I want people around me to be safe, and I need to get back to going to events and not being afraid of everything, and I think this is the only way to do it. Definitely.
And it's funny you bring up Mike Wood, because he was one of my professors at Algonquin College when I went to Algonquin.
He's going to love that when I tell him, for sure.
Yeah, it's been a while since we spoke. I mean, he's also someone I'd like to get on the show soon, because he has a lot that he has to say, and he's very open about what he has to say. He's very upfront, and I appreciate that about him because he's very honest. And everybody that I've spoken to on these topics, whether it's in an interview or just behind the scenes, they all they all have different opinions, but they're also not as narrow-minded as some people are in this whole back and forth debate, whether it's good for you or not good for you. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the city right now is sitting at 88% with one vaccine and 82 with a double vaccination. So, I mean, I think the proof is in the numbers right there that people are doing it, and it's a smaller minority who isn't. And we've got to find ways to educate that minority to let them know that this is safe and this is, yes, the only way forward. And, you know, how do you do it, right? And the vaccinations are sort of at a standstill right now, and the numbers keep going up. So how do you fix that? How do we get out of this?
exactly. And to get back, just to redirect it back to the radio career, you said you've been in it 25 years, or was it 20? Sorry.
Well, so next fall, 2022, it's going to be 25 years since I entered college to take on radio broadcasting. So a quarter of a century since I began this journey. And, you know, like when I was in high school, I used to read the morning announcements. I went to Vankleigh Kill Collegiate Institute about an hour from here. And I loved it. It was in me to entertain, the passion for music, the passion for community. And I've tried to use this platform for good over the past, like I said, quarter of a century, to use that voice to be able to broadcast to people that, you know, let's make a difference. And I've done a lot of really cool things. I've got to interview my heroes. I've got to go to the coolest shows that I've ever wanted to go to. And I'm hoping for another 25 years if I can squeeze that out.
I definitely think you can. And where were you first? Where was your first placement in radio?
So I attended Loyalist College in Belleville, Ontario, and I worked at a station called Mix 97, which was a top 40 station there.
Okay.
But then I landed on a station, and I don't know if you're familiar with this one. It was called Cool FM 93.9, and
I'm familiar with it.
yeah. So because it's been off air for quite a while, right? But I landed there in 1999. And it was amazing for me because it was like this station I listened to when I was in high school, just driving around Vankleigh Kill, Hawkesbury. And then all of a sudden I found myself sitting at the board of Cool FM. And I was an announcer on that station with these legends in my mind that, you know, the voices I heard on the radio. So it was pretty cool. And from there I went to Magic 100 for 6 years. Then I went to 106.9 The Bear, the rock station, for a bunch of years. And once again, like all these stations I listened to growing up, and it was, yeah, it was a dream come true. Then I went to a blues station called Dog FM. Then I landed back at the Bear for the third time in my career. Then Boom, and you know, it's been Boom ever since, and I love it there. The music is fun. It's music I grew up with, and it's just it's cool. Our ratings keep getting bigger and better, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. They let me be free and artistic and just let me be myself. And I love it. Love it. I honestly do.
Yeah, because when I'm driving around with, whether it's my dad or with friends, and we're listening to the station you're on, you seem like you just love what you're doing. You definitely have a great radio voice. The first thing I noticed when we started talking and you did that initial shout out for me, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
oh, thank you. Yeah,
oh, no,
I mean,
definitely in your blood there, Dylan.
well, thank you. I mean, you know, we're all good at something in life, and you know, ask me to fix a car, there's no way that's going to happen. Ask me to paint a house, probably not. But when it comes to maybe entertaining or knowing how to like care for people, perhaps through my community work, like that's what I'm good at, right? And so we all have our thing, and that's why, like they say, if you love what you do, you never work a day, right? And you know, I feel every day like I get excited. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping, even all these years later, because I'm excited about the next day, about what I can do, about how I can make a difference, about who I need to email to make things happen. And that's a passion I hope I don't lose. I mean, it's a tough career too, right? It's entertainment, and but every time you hear me on that microphone, like I appreciate it, because I also know how easily it can be taken away. because it's like I said, it's the world of entertainment, and so I
Very
appreciate
true.
every moment, every show.
And for people that are trying to get into the path of like career, like radio personality, things like that, what are 3 tips you'd suggest to them after your time accumulated as a radio personality?
Well, definitely, I think school probably is the way to start. I mean, it's a 2-year program, either a Loyalist or Algonquin. I believe there's other ones in Canada, of course, Ontario, because you learn, all the ins and outs and things that you didn't even know you had to learn, and it's good. It's good to get that training as well. They put you right on a station. So that's amazing. I mean, I think you have to have an open mind. I mean, you can't just be, oh, I'm only going to play this kind of music, or I'm only going to, don't tell me what to say, don't tell me what to do. I'm always open to constructive criticism. I mean, probably today my boss may have messaged me about something that I need to do or work on, or, and I'm always open to that because that's the only way you can adapt. So those are 2 big, school and just be open-minded. And but I just think, talent is obviously important. You need to sound good. You need to know what you're doing, like any job, right? But you need to be good in the hallways. I mean, like, people need to like you. You can't. It's like any career, really. These are just. I think these are tips for any career. You can't walk into a building and think that you own the place, right? And you've everybody's equal, and
Yeah,
that's
the
important.
small achievements lead to bigger and better achievements later on.
Totally. I mean, one thing I always tell people, and I guess this is like a 4th point or whatever, but be a yes person. I mean, if somebody offers you an opportunity, like you and I here, I mean, you asked me to come on. It's got to be a bunch of months back, as you mentioned, right? And we just haven't had an opportunity, but it's always been in my mind and my heart to like reach out to you and let's make this happen, because you were kind enough to offer me this platform. And you never know what can come of it. I mean, I see all these good people that are writing things. I see people are tuned in, and perhaps I don't know them yet, but maybe through this interview they've learned something from me, or they connect with me afterwards. And you never know what's going to happen when you open your door, walk out of it, and go someplace. Go take on that opportunity, take on that. Somebody asks you to do something, find a way.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you'd be amazed what can happen.
Yeah, I find a lot of things come with good networking, collaborations in different forms, whether it's content like this or just working behind the scenes, producing something that someone else is working on, whatever the case may be. But
Totally.
that's what this initial platform on Instagram is for, is just for anybody to talk about what they do, their business, and hopefully it helps someone who's either looking down the same career path or wanting to pick up a similar art as either one or whatever type of guest I do have on at the time. So I hope that the people that do tune in also take something from the conversation, because like I said, that is the goal. And I don't think I know a lot of these people either. I think they're just here watching. I'm not sure. I hope they feel free to follow us both.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you're tuned in right now, I mean, give us a follow for sure. And I mean, that's how we can all grow and network, like you said, right? And if anybody has any questions about radio or community or anything, don't be shy. If I don't write you back right away, I mean, I will. I'm addicted to my phone. That's probably one of the negatives of this world right now. But I'm just always on it. I always think something. I got to check it just in case, right? But yeah, it's just you just have to say yes to opportunities. And I think even if you're scared, even more, like, that means you really should be saying yes, unless it doesn't feel right. Of course, I get that, but you learn through these things. And some of the coolest things that I've done, I was terrified before, and then at the end of the day, I got to lay in bed and say, you know what, I did that. And how cool is that? I'll always have that story for whoever wants to hear it. Or you can say, I didn't do it. So which would you feel better about, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And a little just into the mental health aspects of things. What's your, like, when you hear the word mental health or mental illness, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, you would, if someone's looking for help or they just don't know how to go about reaching out, because it's not always easy reaching out. It takes a lot of courage to reach out when someone's suffering in silence. So
It does, and I mean, you see me here, and I'm talking, and it's like, oh, that guy's got a cool career, and he looks like he's. But I have pretty rough days too. I mean, it's difficult. This pandemic, days that I don't work are my worst days because I feel like I'm useless. I feel like people are going to forget me, and these are the crazy things that the silly things that go through your mind, right? And you shouldn't feel that way, but. I just think it's so important to get out of bed, get moving, whatever that means to you, right? And you're going to feel better. I know personally, like, I came home here tonight and I reached out to you and I said, you want to do this? I could have easily just forgot it and watched Netflix or just whatever, right? But I feel better knowing that I've used my time productively here, right? Like we're connecting with other people. You just got to keep moving. Like I strongly believe that. And like I said, that can be anything to you. Just exercise, talking to people, trying to find little ways to make a difference. Go on Facebook, find events, like write to people, say, give them a compliment. And you just, the endorphins, like you just start feeling better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned like someone that sees somebody who has like a great career, they look happy on the outside and stuff like that, a quote comes to mind that I just heard recently was, don't judge someone's insides based on their outsides.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me when I heard it, because the way I perceived it was basically, if they look well off, or they have a great career, they have a smile on their face, they're laughing, it's sometimes it's just a mask.
Yeah.
And it's hard to differentiate, obviously. Sometimes some people are really good at hiding it, some people aren't really great at hiding it. So that's why it's important, I feel, that more people reach out to their friends and family, especially with my most recent post on Instagram today was just the statistics on globally the mental health and illness statistics. And I forget what it was exactly. I have to double check it. But for reference, if you want later, it's the most recent post I posted. And the numbers are just exponential. They're just skyrocketing. And the age is lower and lower every year, it seems.
I think everybody's battling it is somehow, some form, but you're right. I mean, even the most beautiful looking people in the world, like you wonder, like, how could they be unhappy? But it's just, it's easy to feel unhappy. It's easy to get in a slump. It's easy to feel like you're not good enough. And I struggle with it. And I honestly struggle with it daily. And, when you hear me on the microphone, like, of course, that's my time to shine. That's my time to work. Like, I'm not going to portray myself as somebody who's down in the dumps or have had a bad day, because I've got to entertain. But you have to be gentle with everybody you come across, because chances are they're going through something. And, I could tell you about all my backstory. I could tell you about all the things in my world right now, and you'd probably be like, wow, I didn't know any of that. Because, I don't put the negative stuff on social media. I don't put, because I have trouble with that too, like seeing everybody complain or everything's bad or everything's, because then it just makes me feel bad, right? So
yeah,
I be positive. I try to be upbeat and happy and appear that way, but it's not always the case. So I think everybody is fighting something in one way or another.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't discriminate color, race, or creed. It's something that just targets you, and you can't just tell it to take a break. It doesn't work like that. You have to work on it and push through it. And I mean, it's some people are, I won't say stronger than others, because that doesn't sound right, but they're more, how could I put it? They're able to channel their emotions better than someone else, perhaps.
Yeah, and perhaps they have practice doing it too, unfortunately, right? Maybe they've gone through so many things in their life that at this point, it's like when you say you have a thick skin. Like, I have a pretty thick skin, but unfortunately it's because it's been hit so many times, meaning, a career in radio or, relationships or that kind of, you don't get to 44 without having gone through some stuff, right? So it's the same with being able to handle your emotions. You've probably gone through a lot of things, and you know, the old saying, what doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Yep.
You know,
And you,
so you go
sorry,
through
go
these.
ahead.
Yeah, no, you go through these things, you get to the other side, and you're a better person for it. That's what I believe. So that's why you can't give up. And you can never give up. If I think about the things that bothered me in high school compared to now, I mean, I don't even know any of the people that bothered me in high school anymore. Like, I'm a
Right.
completely different person. These people are gone. So imagine if I would have given up then. Imagine if I would have given up in my 20s, in my 30s. Everything changes. Everything is temporary. Feelings, emotions. You just keep moving. You feel, you know, it's like if you have the flu, you have it one day, the next day you feel better. Like, just
Yeah.
keep moving. It's going to get better. You never know. The next day could be the best day of your life. It really could, right? So, can't give
And
up.
you recently started like an Instagram type interview session deal yourself. I think it was it's with your friends. I think it was called.
Yeah, I mean, it's called my Influential Friend interview
That's
series,
right.
and it was just something that I created at the beginning of the pandemic. So I was a TV host. I had a TV show called Daytime Ottawa on Rogers TV, and I was the host on Cable 22 for about 3 or 4 years. Then it went off
Funny.
air.
I performed there as a hip hop artist about a decade ago, twice actually.
You okay? So
Yeah.
I mean, so you know the show, right? And so I was the host, and it with the pandemic hit, and then they went off air because it's a very interactive show. So I decided I had a little extra time. I mean, Boom keeps me very busy, of course. I'm a full-time employee, but I thought, okay, let's do something else. Let's use this online platform instead of interviewing people in face-to-face. Let's interview them on Instagram. Exactly the same way as you're doing it right now. Sometimes technically it's not always the best. You have trouble connecting with people or whatever. It goes all fuzzy. But I interview, I call them friends. That doesn't mean that we're always like super close, but I mean, it's a catchy title, and it's just people that do good things in the community, right? A lot of the radio announcers, friends that I've worked with, and you know, I interviewed a Warlock. I've interviewed Mike Wood's been on there many times talking about the pandemic. Jared Goldsmith from ESAC's networking. So I just throw people on there, and you'll have to jump on one of these days.
Definitely, I'd love to take part.
Yeah, it's fun. And I mean, they get a few hundred views, and it's just they live on my Instagram IGTV after, and it's just another creative outlet and another way to put my skills, right? And that's why, like I said, almost a quarter century, and I'm still always learning. I'm always adapting. I'm always getting better, and you've got to keep doing that. You can't just, you got to find new ways to be creative, and the world lives online, so you got to put a lot of your content up there.
Definitely, you got to keep them entertained somehow.
Yeah, I try.
For any future plans coming up, like any.
Cop's not coming to bust me, that's for sure.
Pardon?
I hope that cop's not coming to bust me.
I get it a lot. I do my interviews out of the car now. I call them car chats, and like every time each interview I've had, a siren's gone by, and I'm just like, oh.
That's awesome. That was totally awesome. Well, you know what? So I've organized another blood donor clinic that comes up in December, and it's a full month-long blood donor clinic, and it's in memory of my parents who both needed blood when they were with us. And so I try to get people out to 1575 Carling Avenue the whole month of December. So that's something I'm working on. Actually, before that, October is my birthday month, and I always do a fundraiser. I call it my extravaganza. And this time around, I'm going to be raising money for the Leukemia Foundation of Canada, Leukemia Society. So we're going to be doing that. There's a burger that's been created in my name at a place called No Forks Given. There's always something. Movember comes up in November. I don't grow the mustache. I grow a goatee, and I call it a moatee. A moatee, because it looks terrible with just the... But I'm always working on things. I'm always thinking about things that I can do to make a difference. And it's busy times ahead, but that's what, they say. I always throw these analogies out, right, or sayings, but the rolling stone collects no moss, right? So right. As I keep moving, keep the brain going, keep, active, it keeps me feeling good. It keeps my mental health at bay, like the demons, as they say. And always looking forward to jumping on new opportunities and just trying to make a difference.
Before I let you go, and because I know that you've probably been working all day, you probably want to kick back and relax, and we'll get more in depth when we have our podcast interview in the near future. But I just wanted to go back to the blood donation, because you're a big advocate for that, right? And I noticed that you shared a story once, I believe it was in regards to the passing of your mother and how she donated blood. If I may be mistaken, it was a while back that I saw it. But is that what the blood donation you said is inspired by, or your parents?
Well, I'll quickly tell you the story. So I've donated exactly 100 times now. So
I've seen that. Congratulations and thank you.
Well, gosh, you're welcome. I mean, in August we held a 1 week-long blood donor clinic, and we collected 500 units of blood.
Amazing.
Blood so, in honor of the 100th donation, which literally took 25, 30 years, it takes a long time because you can only give every so often, and if you take some time off from it. But the original reason why I gave blood is because my mother needed blood. When she gave birth to my brother, who came before me in the 1970s. So if she didn't have that supply, if that was not there, then I would not be here. So I did it. That was the primary reason. And then 2 years ago, my dad was at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute, and he needed blood. So, I mean, and it extended his life. And my goodness, like, I can't stress it enough. If you're eligible, make a donation, make an appointment, because don't fear COVID. They keep things so safe at 1575 Carling Avenue because you can't replicate blood, and chances are you're going to need it at one point in your life. Cancer patients, accident victims, surgeries, and the shelf life isn't very long. So when it comes out of you, they keep it bagged, but it doesn't last long. So they're always looking to replenish the stock. So I just think if you're eligible, you really need to give it a try. And don't worry about the needle. It takes literally very little pain, and you get a whole pile of cookies after. So
the best part.
Yeah, definitely. Cookies, chips, and juices. My goodness.
And you said you're going to try organizing another blood donation campaign. When was that? December, you said?
Yeah, December. So 2 years ago, we did a couple of weekends in memory of my father. And then we lost my mom, and so last December was a full month in memory of my parents, and we're going to do it again this December. So the full month of December, and New Year's Day is sponsored by Yuck Yucks, the comedy club, because I work there as well. So we just try to get people out, and there's no excuses. So because if I say to somebody like, "Hey, can you come out this Saturday?" No, I can't this Saturday. Well, that's fine, because we're doing it the whole month. There's no excuse.
There we go. And any way that I could help promote it, just send me any flyers, posters, links, things like that, and I'll share them on my story. And I might make my way out there myself. It'll be the first time I do it. Yeah. I'm sure I'm eligible, but maybe it'll be the first time I do it. And yeah, I think it's really great what you do in the city, both on the radio and with your Influential Friends series. I mean, you get a lot of important topics spoken on. So I want to thank you for coming on tonight, and I consider you a friend. I have since we started speaking, and for those multiple shout-outs on air whenever we spoke, or a shout-out to my dad for a song he wants to listen to. I always appreciate the little things. So yeah, before we go, I just want to say thank you to Dylan Black, part of 99.7 Boom FM, Yuck Yucks as well. You heard him about the blood donation campaign happening in December. I'm sure I'll have some stuff to share with you guys in coming months. But yeah, definitely, Dylan, thank you for coming on and talking with me. And hopefully we can get the podcast episode recorded soon and get more in depth about mental health and your career and music in general, because it seems like it's three important things that we both seem to enjoy talking about. And I always like meeting new people or talking with new people. So
Mhm. Well, my gosh, thanks for the opportunity. And I am on air tomorrow morning, 9 to 2. We call it Shout Out Saturdays. This is another thing I created, which with the help of my team at Boom, where we mention small businesses all morning, or entrepreneurs, or great initiatives like yours. And you know, if ever anybody wants a free mention on air, birthdays, anniversaries, name mentioned, contact me, find me, send me a message. And you never know, I could be talking about On the Line with Hanley tomorrow on Boom 99.7.
Oh, he had to use the radio voice. I appreciate it, Dylan.
You're welcome. You're on your IGTV. You're publishing this?
This will be right on my IGTV after we disconnect. I put them right up. I just have to add the title and then tag you in it.
That's amazing. I'll take the link, I'll share it around, and try to you know, spread the word of the good things you're doing. So thank you very much for your great initiative as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for the time. And everybody who's been following the conversation since we started, go ahead and give Dylan a follow, give myself a follow. I follow everybody back. I always send a message to thank everybody for reaching out and following me. I appreciate it. Trying to build this platform up. The podcast just started in March, but it's gaining traction thanks to people like Dylan and everybody that's been following my interviews. So again, Dylan, thank you very much. Hope to talk to you again soon, and feel free anytime you have any news or any messages you need to relay, let me know, and you could be welcome back on here anytime.
Thanks very much. Have a great night, and thanks to everybody who tuned in as well. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah.